Good afternoon. Welcome. Glad you could all join us today. So let's get started talking about WWDC Part 2 on Go for Lunch for June the 16th, 2026. I'm Roger Harmon, your host, and this is brought to you by GoFor Technology, where we make your technology work for you. It's National Cracker Jack Day. Do you remember Cracker Jacks with the surprise toy inside? Remember these boxes here where you open them up and look for the toy first and the Cracker Jack second? So we have a trivia question here. What is the name of Sailor Jack's dog? What is Sailor Jack's dog's name? Okay, so we want to know that. There's the dog right here. So I wanted to get a box of Cracker Jacks. So of course I turned to Amazon, and Amazon couldn't deliver them by today. So I had to settle for a bag of Cracker Jacks. So some interesting things here. Number one, or maybe not number one, Cracker Jacks is distributed by our old friends at Frito-Lay. So Big Food has taken over Cracker Jacks. The next thing that was a little disturbing, it says, unlock classic games. Find the prize inside to play. So the instructions are, number one, find the sticker inside. Number two, get the directions to play. And number three, start playing. So this is interesting. So we're going to open this up here. And of course, it's hard to find the surprise because they probably put it in the bag first. And then they fill it. So we're going to rummage around in here and see if we can find the prize. And so far, we can't find it. So, in the interest of time, we're going to give up on that idea. I'll have to report to you later how that prize thing works. So, let me wipe off my Cracker Jacky hands. So in the meantime, oh my goodness, we have a winner. That's exactly right, Leslie Ann. Bingo. Bingo is Sailor Jack's dog's name. So very good. You must be killer at trivia. Well, back to WWDC 26, Intelligence Reimagined. Of course, this kicked off last week on June the 8th for a week-long developers conference where Apple introduced all the new operating systems and spent a week with developers showing them how to implement everything that Apple has brought out in their apps. So I want to touch on platform improvements once again. We talked about that a little bit last week. But I found this great website called iClarified. And what they did was they clarified the 263 new features. So this was the slide that Apple provided, which of course we can't read. So the people at iClarified made a list. So now they've got all of the changes that were on that illegible slide listed here. So I'll just you read off a couple of them. So here's one: audio scrubbing in CarPlay now playing. Let's see. Here we go. Something we can all use. Faster messages in loading. Fastest messages loading in mail. And here's a useful one. Apple Care coverage details in settings in iOS. And the list goes on and on and on. So the link to this is in the description down below, so you can see this for yourself. So here we are down to 263, which I'm trying to get that to just highlight. There we go. 263 faster to start uploading to iCloud Pictures. So when you take a picture with your camera, it will get up to iCloud Photos and down to your Photos app sooner, so you can share it with other people. So I want to set your expectations. Now we're making a big to-do about the 27 Mac, iOS, iPad OS, and everybody OS operating systems, but the harsh truth is that they're not going to be available to the general public until fall, probably September. Now, the good news is that iOS 27 will work on an iPhone 11 or later. So that's great news that they're supporting older models of iPhone. So in order to get most of the, we're going to call this SAI so that we won't trip anybody's assistant. So SIRIAI will be said SAI, if I can remember. So you need an iPhone 15 or later to get most of the SAI features, but to get all of the features you need an iPhone 17 Pro or Pro Max or an iPhone Air. So the older iPhones will get new design refinements, message improvements, wallet updates, phone app changes, CarPlay improvements, security updates, of course, accessibility features, SAI, app actions, personal context, on-screen awareness, image playground, Genmoji, image intelligence. The iPad will require an iPad Pro with an M1 chip or later, an iPad Air with an M1 chip or later, or an iPad Mini with the A17 Pro chip. And then your Mac will need to be either a Mac Neo, any Mac with an M1 or later chip. And the dedicated Siri app, however, will provide conversational SAI and app actions, personal context, on-screen awareness, third-party extensions, and conversational history, not to mention Apple-powered world knowledge. And we're going to explain what all those mean shortly. So for the best Siri, the SAI experience, you need an iPhone Pro or later, or an iPhone Air and an iPad with an M4 chip, or a Mac with an M4 chip and 12 gigabytes of RAM, which of course not a problem because all the Macs now come with 16 gigabytes of RAM. Even the Apple Watch Series 9 or later, when paired with an iPhone 15 Pro or later, will have some of the SAI features. So there is no free lunch. So especially when you're going to be using video generation and image generation, there will be some limitations. Now, these limitations will be less if you have an iCloud Plus account, and if you are paying for any kind of extra storage in iCloud, then you do have an iCloud Plus account. So let's dive into Apple Intelligence. So as you may have heard, Apple has a contract with Gemini, Google Gemini, said to be about $1 billion a year to use Gemini's models. Now, to be very clear, they're not using the same Gemini app that you can get to either on the web or with a iPhone app. They are not going out and using Google's data that Google has scraped across the web. What they are doing is using the technology that Gemini has in their Apple Foundation model and keeping everything private. So some of the things that they're doing here is image understanding and generation. For example, here we have a tree frog, we have a parrot over here, and if you take a picture of something like that, you can ask SAI what it is. Also, they have photorealistic image generation now. Before, it was not photorealistic. So at the very top end of SAI, you are getting high accuracy dictation, better language understanding, and control of the voices. So here's how it works. Here you are in the middle with your iPad, your watch, your iPhone, your Mac, or even your Vision Pro. And you can talk to SAI with images, voice, and text, and the Apple Foundation models is what controls this. And then it's going to draw from your personal context, which means information that's on your device, like you're in your mail, your text, your calendar. It's also going to be able to draw world knowledge. It's going to be able to do app actions. It's going to have on-screen awareness, and this is all being done by the system orchestrator. So what is the broad world knowledge? Well, for a few years now, it's been rumored that Apple was developing its own search engine. Well, I think what that turns out to be is Apple's world knowledge. So they have created a whole data bank of knowledge on not scraping the web like every other LLM has done, but they have created their own database of knowledge, and they have respected the copyright holders' rights and paid for access to that knowledge. So when you're searching for knowledge, you're not out there on the internet, you're in Apple's kind of walled garden of knowledge. So the app actions will go into your mail, into your contacts, into your calendar, into music, into notes, into all your applications. And Apple has created APIs, which are application program interfaces to provide third-party developers with the tools that they can use to tap into all of this. So during the summer, the independent developers will be adapting their apps to use Apple's APIs so that they can have app actions as well as Apple's can with their apps. So on-screen awareness lets you, for example, here's a picture, and you can tell it to save that information to a map. You can ask what a certain species is. You can add a playlist to your music up next. You can reserve a table at a restaurant and get the ETA to get there. So this is all of the many things you can do with on-screen awareness. So here we have the same chart, but we've added the access with SAI and with apps talking to each other. And that's all done with the system orchestrator. So that gets your personal contacts, your world knowledge, your action, and your on-screen awareness. And it orchestrates that all to give you the results that you're looking for. So privacy, again, was emphasized a lot. And down below in the description, I linked to an interview with two Apple executives. And they explain it in very great detail of how everything is kept private when you're using SAI. So if you'd like to hear about how that's being done, feel free to watch that interview. So the bottom line is your data is not stored. It's only used to execute your request, and after your request is executed, Apple does not keep a record of it. And they're doing something that no other tech company that I know of is doing, is they are opening up their code to independent experts that can verify what Apple is claiming to be their privacy standards. So the Siri app is now available. It's only available on the most advanced devices. But what it will do is keep a record of your conversation. So anything that you ask about will be there, so you can go back and pick up where you left off. You can also do this across all of your devices. So if you started on your iPhone, you can continue it on your iPad or your Mac or any of the other combinations here. subscribe, ring that little bell so that you will be So, thank you for your attendance. And let me get over here. There we go. And let me see your comments. So, let's see what we got here. So Doriana congratulates Leslie Ann on her trivia knowledge. And Leslie says she just heard about bingo last week. Oh, that's great. And Doriana says, amazing how we can be shown these synchronicities. And let's see here. Leslie Ann says, so I would imagine that Apple will be doing some lessons, and of course we will be back in September to break all this down for you. So stay tuned, and we are hopefully not muted any longer. So Leslie Ann says, yes, you can expect that. Actually, it'll probably be before 2027. So early reports on the people that have downloaded the developer beta is that this beta is pretty much very stable so far. So people haven't encountered any major problems from what I've been reading, and I've been reading a lot in the last week. So I'm still muted. Well, looks like I was muted for a while. So let's see here. So hopefully I am not muted. It doesn't look like it. Could someone tell me if I'm muted or not right now? So that's unmuted. So let me look at my window that shows me what's muted and not. And let's see, here we go. Sound effects. No, that's not it. Sound levels. So, okay, thank you, Leslie Ann. I'm good now. So, I'm sorry that I didn't unmute myself. So, I will just have to go back and fix that in post, as we say, and I will post a edited version on YouTube to fix that problem. So sorry about that. So thanks for everybody for joining, and if you think of anything you'd like to know after we finish, you can email me or you can text me or call me. And that number is, oh, okay. So it looks like you got everything. So I think you understood the information about the T-Mug meeting tonight, because that's very clear on the slide. So That's good. Thanks a lot. So take care until next Tuesday at high noon for another Go for Lunch.